pro-life. What does that mean, and are you?
Another one of those all-day questions. Pro-life, pro-choice. That issue has been on the docket now for the past, basically about 30 years. I do not believe in abortion for abortion's sake only, to take the life of the child because you're not happy with the pregnancy. But I still think there is a case that we got to look at somewhat of a choice for the parent of the child, the grandparents of the child, and their belief in God and how it's handled. So, although I do not believe in abortion, I believe there is an avenue that should be left for the people to choose in certain cases. Thank you.
I stated in my opening, I'm definitely pro-life. You know, to me, the decision was made right at the start when people decided to have sex. That was their choice. And whatever the consequence is, I feel they have to live with it. Thank you.
I think this is a tough question for anybody to answer. I think that I personally am not in favor of abortion. I never have been. It's not something I would ever make as a choice for myself, but I certainly can't make that choice for anyone else. In my belief, I really think we need to focus on the front end of the problem, making sure that we're using evidence-based programming and education so that hopefully we wouldn't find ourselves as young females wouldn't find themselves in that situation where they would have to make that choice. And so I believe in increasing that education and on the front end, not the back end. Thank you.
I too feel that abortion is never really the best or a good option, but I am pro-choice. I think that women should have the rights to do what they need to do with their bodies. And as a man, it's an even harder question to answer because we don't have to go through carrying a baby to term. But I do believe in freedom of choice.
Well, I believe life begins at conception. I'm not going to say that if a bill came before me that limited it to 21 weeks that I would not vote for that bill, because I probably would, because anything is better than nothing. But I do believe in choice. I believe that baby should have a choice. Thank you.
Well, I also don't believe in abortion as a solution to the issue that some people find themselves in, but I do believe that they should have that ability to be able to make that choice based on their religious beliefs, their medical and their family beliefs.
Well, and I'm very much pro-life, and in the legislature, when I cast a vote on a bill or on multiple bills, one of the things I look at and take into account, I always want to protect people's lives, their liberty, and their pursuit of happiness. But without life, liberty and the pursuit of happiness aren't possible. So I'm very much pro-life.
Well, that choice, if it was down to my wife and I, we would not decide to have an abortion. It's just not what we do for ourselves. With that being said, it is not my choice to make that decision for a woman. And I think that it's really a decision that should be made between a woman and her doctor, and based on their religious beliefs and what their personal doctrine is. So.
This would be one of those that where I come from a very different cultural background. And for me, what is a hugely controversial issue is very simple. Like a lot of tribes, believe that life is sacred and that life begins at conception. Just to give you an idea of how much so, that I have a grandson that was born at rest, as they would say. And the idea that he was not anybody because he did not breathe and live in this world, we often have full funerals for a child as much as somebody that has lived a long life. And in some traditions and within some tribes, if a woman has had an abortion, she's not allowed within their sacred ceremonies. So it is viewed as taking a life. Thank you.
Well, I get to be last on a controversial issue that a lot of people have argued back and forth for a long, long time. And we're not going to solve that argument today. However, I will give you my opinion because that's what you're asking for. And I think it's important for you to know who the people are that you're voting for. And first of all, I am a pro-life candidate. I believe that that is my stance, and I'm going to stay that stance. I do understand that there are individual choices and there are various factors, and I can appreciate all those. I do believe that once in a while somebody comes along that's way smarter than me. And George Bush was president at one time, the young one, and he says, what I see is when we have an abortion, that life ends. When we have an adoption, we have a very happy child in the future, and we have two happy parents today. So there are some positive things that can come out of a bad situation. So I would rather see good things come out of a bad situation. I am pro-life.